All right, welcome back to On the Fritz. I'm your host, Fritz Spencer, and with me today is Patricia Beitler, the founder of Velocitas. And she'll correct me on my enunciation of that. But very quickly, Patricia, I'd love to know, and if you can do it without using your career, your education, or your hobbies, tell us something about you or a little bit more.
So the first thing that comes to mind is I'm a mother.
Okay.
And I have always been a caregiver or empath. I take care of everybody. That's always been, part of who I am and something that I take pleasure in. Very ambitious. I've always wanted to do more and learn more and continue to grow. And that's always been very important to me.
I love that response. That's an incredible response. And I'll give you mine because I was thinking about it too, because I find this to be a tough question for people, but I find I'm like a humor-driven machine who is a big lover. I'm a Cancer, and then also pretty emotional, apparently, according to my wife. But and then also really focused on just building and growing. And there's always a statement about a lobster doesn't grow unless it feels a lot of stress, and then it molts its shell, and then it goes to the next stage of life. And I feel that, like, I go through all this stress, and then I build, and then I shed it off and keep going. And so welcome to On the Fritz. It's a pleasure to have you. You're, a staple here in the Miami ecosystem. And so I'd love to hear a little bit more about your journey about founding Velocitas.
So my journey actually started in tech. My first really big job was at Lucent Technologies.
Wow.
And I tell a lot of my Gen Zs to say that was the Google of the time, because that's really the only way to describe it. And I started as a web developer, and I managed Brazil, Argentina, Mexico. I was building them, and then as the company imploded, so to speak.
Good implosion or bad implosion?
It was interesting. It was, one of the Fortune 500 company, and it went from, closing all over the different things that were happening. They were from Bell Labs, so I actually got to be part of that. And then at that point, I started realizing that I really loved marketing, and I was working with all of the teams across the globe, and I enjoyed that a lot. And I got really excited about it. But I also had like a little time where I was working with Lockheed, and
Wow.
I had a great contract with them. And I started the agency, but I wasn't fully committed at the time. And then I started, putting all of my time and focus and energy into the agency. And when that happened, everything started evolving and growing.
That's awesome. And so was this all happening in South Florida? Have you moved around a lot?
I've always been in South Florida. I'm an OG.
OG? Okay. I moved here like 10 years ago, so I'm pre-COVID for all of you haters out there on the COVID people. But yeah, let's keep going. I mean, On the Fritz, we're always talking about things that are broken, and there's something you're probably working on right now that's maybe broken in your eyes. And is that something you have a lot of passion towards, you're fixing right now?
Well, there's a couple things. I think one of the things that's always been very important for me has been supporting women. And, that's just been like part of my mission. And I like to go to speak at schools with young women and mentor them and just make a difference. So that's something that's important. And the other thing is AI and PR and marketing, and, trying to educate. And also the difference is that a lot of people now think that they can do marketing completely without the expertise of people. And now, being with my tech background and everything else, it all, it culminates into something really interesting, because I think more than ever, it's important to understand that you still need the expertise of people in order to do the due diligence and actually, have those connections. And also for public relations specifically, you still need those relationships.
So I think of it as like everyone talks about the human in the loop. So there's always going to be people helping to drive it and using it as a tool. And I'm always saying, like, did the wrench replace the plumber? Like, no, they just got better at their job, right? And so how do you see it playing like a really impactful role in the next, stages of the marketing world? And definitely talk more about, what your company itself is really like striving to build right now, because I'm sure that's evolved over time.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's actually evolve is the key word, and especially considering when I first started the agency, there wasn't any.
I hate to call it the
things-
agency, like the CIA.
Well, it's my agency. Actually, I started it 25 years ago. Next year, next May is my 25-year anniversary.
Wow,
When I
congratulations.
it was May 2002. So it's interesting to see how everything has changed in technology, in marketing. A lot of people actually couldn't see the correlation with tech and marketing at the time when I decided to change my career path, and they were like, "What?"
They go hand in hand.
Yes. So it's very interesting how that in and of itself is to show how things have changed.
And so you've grown up here, you've seen it change. Like, what's been the most transformative thing that you were like really got to ride the wave of?
Tech. I mean, if you think about it, we've been involved in the space for a long time, and it's just exciting. It's really, everything that has, evolved and has happened in the last 10, 15 years. It's like every new decade is something new and exciting, and being a part of it, having an understanding of it, having it all come together. It's a full circle moment for sure.
Yeah, I'm a huge like tech nerd. I don't know if you knew that, but I build my own computers and I build my own apps in my free time. Now everyone should be doing that, with Claude. So
Yes.
are you playing with these things? What's like the nerdiest thing you're doing right now?
Well, because I'm not a developer anymore or developing as much, I'm still, using Claude and Chat, and I'm always doing research and learning consistently. I think it's really important in whatever industry you're in, especially, now you have to really be constantly growing and learning and evolving, because if you're not, then you're just not, staying stagnant is not something that I could even imagine.
No, people who stay stagnant, they don't stay around.
No, and I think that's probably why I've been able to persevere for so many years, considering everything that's transpired between now and then.
Yeah. Speaking of that perseverance, I'd love to know more about some of your clients and your client base, and maybe some of the feedback you get from them and ways you've helped them.
Yeah. Some of my favorite campaigns have been being able to grow and grow firms, and also, law firms that we work with, tech. There's actually one of the companies that is based in Spain, and growing them here in the U.S. So I like to do, and that's a SaaS, B2B SaaS unicorn.
Wow.
There's another tech company that's based in India that we're expanding, their awareness here in the U.S. So I really enjoy those types of campaigns because, we can, provide some quick results in the sense of having awareness and brand recognition. And then the law firms, I have a portfolio of different firms that we've worked with over the years. Haber Law is a partner of mine that we've been for many years, and we've grown them, significantly. And that's been really exciting. Those types of companies that we're growing and, showing results for, I think makes a big difference.
That's cool. And do any of those law firms work in the tech space? Is that why they're friendly with you, or is it because you're bringing tech to them?
It's different. It's more of the expertise of branding and marketing and how it all comes together, right? Before it was all SEO and content is king, and that's what people were saying 20 years ago. Now it's everything. So the entire marketing ecosystem of your business has to flow together, and I call it a symphony. And it has to be.
I like that. I got chills, symphony.
Yeah, and they all play together, with social, PR, everything, your SEO, all of those things have to be, talking to the LLMs, so then you're giving them the information. All of that works well together, and it has to. It isn't one thing. It is, and it's something I love and I get excited about.
So do you really get into the weeds with so I'm a fractional CFO, so I'm in the weeds of financial data, investor relations, everything in between. Mm-hmm. I'm assuming some of your clients expect that from you to dive in and be their fractional CMO, or is that something that you guys do?
Yeah. We do a deep dive of an audit of everything that's transpired to date in, their digital presence, their overall marketing and PR, and then we look at how you can elevate it, because you always can.
Yeah, Okay. And so what else do you have going on in Miami that you're really excited about besides maybe, the work or, it might all be work. I don't know.
Well, there's a lot of things. I mean, I really love traveling a lot. So for me, always making time to travel is important because it also facilitates that evolvement in your life and growing. So that's something that's important. Yeah, I think that's one of the things that I'm thinking about right now.
Yeah.
And obviously, as summer is coming.
Yeah. Well, I've been to Spain multiple times because my sister lived there for almost 3 or 4 years during COVID, which was
Yeah.
crazy. But we used to go visit her a lot. So how did you end up landing this client from Spain? Is that like you were there or like they came to you?
Well, sometimes we'll have introductions. Other times it'll just be like the right time. I think timing is everything, and I've really learned that over the years. And sometimes we'll be having a conversation, and they're like, "Oh, we happen to be looking for a PR agency." So it's really it's interesting how things happen that way. So yeah,
I mean, this podcast itself is a timing thing now for us. I mean, we were juggling things this morning and we made it happen.
Yeah, but that's what I love, that it all works out.
That's awesome. And so I'd love to know, like, what's like some of your next goals? Like, where are you taking the business? Like, are you partnering with other people? Like, what's super exciting?
Yeah, continuing to grow has always been really important to me. Creating a lot of strategic partnerships. And also seeing what's next with tech and how we can integrate that more into the agency so that, there isn't, I don't believe in competition. I think that it's really more about who you want to work with. It's very personal in that sense. And I think the pandemic also changed that a lot, where it's very relationship driven. So for me, it's about long-term, partnerships and relationships that we're going to build and grow together.
So when you say you don't believe in competition, in what sense? Because that one threw me for a little loop.
Yeah. So realistically, right, you're a CFO.
Yeah.
You're saying, if I'm going to hire, I'm out looking to hire a CFO. And I really enjoy working with you, and I see what you've done over the years, and, then it's really more about working with you.
I'm not competing with anybody at that point. It's just me. Perfect.
Right. So that's what it's about. There's tons of different people doing the same thing, but it's also doing something. Other agencies don't have the tech background that I have. A lot of agencies may be doing X, Y, and Z, but they don't really have that full comprehension. They started from something different. So I think the foundation also of who you are and what you bring to the table makes the world a difference.
Speaking about who's at the table, I'm pretty sure that most of your team is also female, right?
Yes.
And you've been pretty focused on building a presence in that space and focusing on the growth of female founders and executives. Can you talk more about that? Maybe some of the initiatives, or because I was raised by 2 sisters and my mom, and my dad and I were just 2 guys in the house of mostly women. So I feel the love.
Yeah, I mean, I've been through a lot over the years. I mean, during the pandemic, it was actually really interesting because we were all these women at home with babies or going to have babies in different times of their lives. And I've just enjoyed being able to support them through that. And also that we have the flexibility that we give them, healthcare, whatever that they need in the time that they need it, so that they can grow and they don't have to leave their careers. They can, find ways to make it work. Because being a woman and there's a lot of expectations as being a parent, a caregiver, there's the sandwich generation. There's so many different aspects of it now, but you still have to be able to be a superstar and make that happen. So, I like to be able to support them along their path.
Yeah, I'm the same way with my sister. My mom made this statement to me the other day. She's like, "I'm so glad you have women on your podcast." And I was like, "Why would I not have?" But I never saw it until she pointed it out. She's like, "Well, look at the world you're in, the venture space, even the tech space. It's very male dominated, mostly by bald white guys. And so now it's changing down in Miami. You don't see that anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see that. You see people like putting together all female events, just female happy hours, and even in the tech space.
Yeah, diversity is really important in every aspect, and there's a lot of change happening in the world, and being able to make a difference and, have action that they'll make that difference and make a change is important.
Yeah, I agree. Well, if you were to introduce yourself as you in like 10 years in the future, I know I gave you a hard one in the beginning, and now it's an even harder one. What would you want to be saying about what you are going to accomplish or what you hypothetically accomplished over that 10-year period?
Well, I enjoy the speaking part a lot. So global speaker, entrepreneur, continuing to leave a legacy for other women and business owners. And, I think that it's important that people can see what, hard work means and how that can come to fruition over time. And those are the things that I really enjoy the most is, putting in the work. And not a lot of people want to do that. They're like, what's the easiest way out? To get to that 10X.
Not the 10X.
Yes, but the reality is that you still need to do that and use your mind. And that's something else that's, a hot topic now with AI. It's so important to put that into perspective and say, it's important that you're thinking it through and using your own creativity and your own ideas. And yes, you can check them or fact check them, and to some degree, which sometimes you still need to do a deeper dive. But I think that's something that's really important.
Yeah, I now that I'm producing a lot of content, I'm working more and more with AI, but I hate doing copy with AI because it just doesn't feel authentic.
No.
And even when I receive things from people that are clearly AI generated, it makes me not even want to respond or interact with like okay, you didn't take like the 5 seconds it took. So it's that effort-based, like you didn't show up to this conversation.
Completely. And even media training, for PR and when you're having these conversations, it's not, if they're not in the voice and on brand, that's not chat oriented or driven by, it's so important that it comes from that person authentically. And for me, authenticity is everything. So that's something that I've learned along the way as well when it comes to that.
Yeah, I wonder how AI is going to combat that, because I know exactly when it's from someone, and you can even tell just from them reading it. If they didn't write it, they're almost like a robot, right? And then if you're reading AI generated stuff, you're even more like a robot now. And so it's so obvious when it's not authentic. And I guess that's a next impossible standard for AI is like, okay, you can generate whatever you want, but it's not authentic.
Exactly, which is why it comes back to the people, the messaging, that communication, and how important it is. Because if you're not utilizing your own persona and having those, then you still need the professionals to make that happen.
Yeah. So what do you see working right now with your client base, especially like with branded media and utilizing some pieces of content generation? Like what's...
For the content piece, it actually works well to utilize AI because they are speaking to each other, right? So that you're speaking to them in their language, so to speak. So you can derive some of that SEO content. However, you still have to, change it and integrate the keywords and everything else. And I'm just speaking specifically for SEO purposes, my tech background. But in the sense of, when you're having to do a press release or other aspects of marketing and PR, you still have to, everything has to be changed. You can create something that is an initial template, so to speak, and then, but you need to get to the finish line, you need to have the professionals to do that for you.
And is that where you guys come in a lot? And
yes.
So I guess tell me more about your process then, because it seems so interesting to me. Like a lot of people think, oh, I just, I'll post stuff or...
No, that's something, one of the most important aspects of marketing is strategy.
Yeah.
And also like knowing your audience. And there's always a disconnect with that, where it's like you said, I'm just going to post the posts. And
hopefully someone likes it.
Yeah, no. So if you have that and you're thinking about it from the strategic standpoint, then it makes a big difference, because then you're not just the timing, but also the message, who you want to connect with, what you're trying to achieve, and then having a strategy for that, and then having it over time. So it's not just like the right now, having a plan and building out a strategy that is going to get you the results that you're looking for.
Right. Well, that's awesome. I mean, I've been dealing with this every day now, and it's a very unique subset of features that I never thought I'd need to understand. So I appreciate it, and it's like having to dive so much deeper into. I'm doing so much more research than I ever thought I would on like the marketing, like the timing of when I'm doing things now. It's so extensive, just the lighting alone. Like
Well, you put more thought into it and those details, and it always shines through.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. But I want to thank you so much for joining me today on the Fritz and covering a little bit of the broken things that you're trying to fix. It was super exciting. Patricia, thanks so much.
My pleasure.
Awesome. If you enjoyed this conversation and you hung around to this point, I invite you to put your fist through the like button. Don't forget to voice your own opinions in the comments. I welcome feedback. You can find more episodes like this on all the platforms that we have: YouTube, Instagram, Spotify, Apple Music. Feel free to connect. I'm Fritz Spencer. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the next episode of On the Fritz.